Cool. All right. Let me just get some stuff set up here. Seems like we're doing all right. Just gonna wait for a couple people to come in here. Hey, Bourbon Journey, what's going on? Sorry for the delay. What's going on, Tom? I'm just getting a couple things set up here. Man, I'm still such a noob at streaming. I gotta figure this stuff out, or maybe just do it more frequently. It's a little tough doing a whole one-man show, though, you know what I mean? You guys able to hear me all right? Sounds a little quiet. All right, let me see what I can do about that. Thank you, Tom. All right, how's that? Is that a little better? It might be a little better. I swear every time I get on here, either the sound is too much or too little. Hey, Iowa City, how's it going? James, nice to see you. All right, so how's the sound? There we go. Sound is fine on this end. All right, cool. Thanks, James. Appreciate that confirmation. All right, so and the shots of my windows, huh? Oh, like behind me? Yeah, it's funny if you look back through all the different videos I do. You can see sometimes, and actually you'll probably notice at the beginning of the video, sometimes I'll be like, you know, hello, welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, all that stuff. Tonight we're going to be talking, or sometimes I say today, or this afternoon we're going to be. It's funny. Cool. All right, let's see. So just since people are starting to gather in, My Bourbon Journey is a fairly newer channel, and his stuff is very good, actually. I will say, if nothing else, his lighting is impeccable. So my lighting tends to suck. I've got like these lights right above me, and this thing right here does not, you know, really lend itself well to having overhead lights. Something I got to figure out. But for the moment, I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to give people just a couple more minutes to hop in before I hop into this guy. So how's everybody doing tonight? Is anybody going to be drinking with me? 14 viewers already? Oh, wow. That's going pretty good. I usually peak at about 20 or so, so I'm curious what I'm going to end up getting. So I would love to know what you guys are drinking out there tonight. I know it's a Monday. I've personally got a fairly complex day ahead of me tomorrow, so I'm just kind of easing the nerves a little bit. All right, so let me drink some water. Get this stuff going. All right, so let me just hop into this. So I was gifted a bottle of whiskey from one of my viewers. His name's Eric, and it is an Indian whiskey, single malt, called Paul John Brilliance. And nice. So I wanted to do him the favor, or not really him the favor. I kind of wanted to make an event of it because, to be honest, this is the first bottle I've gotten from a viewer. And to me, this is a pretty special event. So I wanted to do a first tasting, first impression, all that stuff on Livestream. So that's kind of what spurred this. I know I'm still not very regular with my live streams, and at some point I'll figure out a time and day that work really well for me. But for the moment, I appreciate you guys showing up when I do randomly do these on the spur of the moment. And I will say this was not supposed to be spur of the moment, like an idiot and noob that I am. Totally didn't make the event public until about half hour ago. So I happened to look at it and I was like, oh shoot, this is private, because people were asking me, hey, when are you live streaming again? And I'm like, there's one up there. Can you not see that? So, oh well. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. So we got Frank Wilson. Nice. Haven't seen you before, I don't think. Oh, you're drinking Booker's. Good for you, man. Which Booker's are you drinking? Is it 2017? Or is it, I know that this the fourth one's not out yet, but which Booker's are you drinking? Stag Junior on a Monday. Very nice. Knob Creek. Cheers from Phoenix. Hey, Phoenix. Let's see. So Tom R says he put some PX sherry in his glass before adding some bourbon. So I'm guessing you're, I don't even know. I'm guessing you're joking, although I'm not sure. Good people in Iowa, cheers from Chicago. Oh, Chicago representing. Tom, I think that's the first time I've seen where you're actually from. All right, so with no further ado, I was kind of trying to give Eric a couple more minutes to pop in, because it seems unfair of me to pop this bottle without him actually being present. So let's give it a couple more minutes, just kind of let people filter in. Is everybody out there having a good week? I know it's only Monday, so it can really only go uphill from here. But there we go. Ooh, Four Roses small batch. What do you think? I'm just curious, Grant, did you end up buying that on my recommendation, or did you happen to have it already? Got a bottle of Little Book. It's good, but needs some work, but it's all good. All right, so Eric's got about till the count of 10 to show up, because I'm thirsty. All right, that does it. So let me open this guy. So as I mentioned, this is a Indian single malt, and so I actually work with a couple of people from India. They came over. I'm a software guy, so not a big surprise. And they came over, and I asked them a few questions about this, and they had never heard of it. And that's not a huge surprise, because it kind of only hit the stores in 2012, and in fact, it even really didn't get that popular until about 2014. But Paul John is a single malt made in India, and it is made in, I don't know if it's a city or a location or state. I don't know geography very well, but the place is called Goa, G-O-A. And I did ask, that is how it's pronounced. I'm just going to butcher it with my English accent here. But it's, it's 46%, so roughly 92 or so proof. You'll have to forgive the sniffles here. Of course, I got sick like the day before I do this live stream. There's no age statement on it. Now, I found some cool stuff, actually, while I was researching this bottle, is that they were saying in India, especially in this particular part, it tends to be pretty hot. So I got a couple of numbers here. They basically said that over the course of aging, they said that a 4 to 5 year old bottle of whiskey will be roughly the same effect in the barrels as a 10 to 15 year Scotch. And that blew my mind, and I got to think it would be interesting to taste them side by side, because even though I get that it's just a science of the whiskey going in and out of the barrel, I have to think that the physical act of going in and out that many times versus just kind of going really deeply into the barrel actually must have a different effect. So I don't know if it's an actual good comparison. But they said that the angel share in India tends to be closer to 10 to 12% per year, which is ridiculous. So for comparison, in Scotland, it's about 2%. They said that a hogshead barrel will go from roughly 350 bottles of what you would get on a 3-year barrel of Scotch would be 350 bottles, but a Indian would be about 150. So they're losing like 2/3 of their whiskey. It's kind of ridiculous. All right, I think I talk a little bit better when I've had a couple to drink. So let's go ahead and open this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour 2 of these. And the reason for that is, since I am just opening this, I'm going to let that one just sit and breathe for a little bit. And this one's going to be the one that I taste right off the bat. All right, let's see what else is going on in the chat here. Scotch Test Dummies, hey, welcome. Had it already. You're drinking Black Velvet, Sean. Yeah, sure. I hope not. I actually was able to give that to a friend of mine who, he didn't hate it, so I was just like, take the whole bottle. I don't want any of it. Let's see. What's up, everyone? Malted Man Cave, nice to see you. All right, so let me, before I taste any of these, let me just say a couple of quick things. So there's a group of us that review whiskeys, and I'm sure most of you that are on here, that you've probably seen most of them or whatever. But so there's the Scotch test dummies, there's Scotch 4 dummies, there's malted man cave, there's whiskey in the 6, there is malted in Montreal. There's a couple of other ones as well, Aquavide. So all of us do reviews, and we all have kind of a different take on what we do. And you know, one way or another, if you enjoy the stuff I do, you would probably enjoy the stuff that they do. So you should check all of them out. If I'm feeling really generous at the end of this live stream, I'll put links to their channels in the description below. But either way, they all had the courtesy to show up to the live stream, so I figured I'd give them a shout out. All right, let's nose this guy. That is really different. It's almost like a cigar. There is definitely, it's the peat, I'm sure. They will sometimes import peat from Scotland and actually use it in this whiskey, but it's actually less peaty than it first seemed at first, like with multiple nosings here. But the main thing that you're getting out of here is like butter, which that's a new one for me too. There's cinnamon in there. You've actually got kind of like a bourbony nose to this. There's green apple, little vanilla, but there's definitely something completely different going on in the nose here. And the best way I could describe it is kind of like smoke from a cigar if you were to really mellow it out. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look and see exactly how this particular bottle is made. I know that one of their other offerings is heavily peated. So it wouldn't surprise me to find out if there was a little bit going on in here too. Now, one thing to note is even though this is a pretty high ABV, it's 46%. Sorry, 46%. The legs are actually pretty thin, but oh well. Cheers. Wow, that is so totally different. This is the first time I've had an Indian whiskey. So right off the bat, actually, I could tell you that, well, let me take a couple more sips before I give any sort of recommendation, but I will say that this is almost like tasting a Japanese whiskey for the first time. It's just very, very different. And you don't get a lot of that. I mean, there's only so many types of whiskeys in the world. That's really good. All right, let's see what's going on here. Gentleman never asks the age, just enjoys what's in his bottle. Yeah. Hey, Swami showed up. It's going on malted. So that's malted in Montreal. What else? Do I have any idea on the price? So the price is, this one was roughly $55. I think you could probably get a little bit cheaper, but you're looking at about $50 to $60. Dalmore 12. Oof, with a chaser of Macallan 18. I do like the Macallan 18. Let's see. Just poured a green label last night, Swami. Yeah, green label. I gotta say, of all the Johnny Walkers, I know I've said it on the channel before, that's probably my favorite. The only one I haven't tried is Platinum. And I'm sure you all know that blue is just beyond overrated. It's good, but it's beyond overrated. That being said, I'll probably do a tasting of that pretty soon. Within a few months. I still want to get through, I want to go through the whole rainbow of Johnny Walkers there. So, all right. Glenmorangie and Ardbeg I'm hoping you're not saying my favorite. Ardbeg isn't bad, although some people might disagree with me. I kind of like it. Hey, thanks, Straight Up. So you have a Old Camp American whiskey. Love them colored, chill filtered, and at 40%. Lead Slingers Whiskey. I have not heard of Lead Slingers Whiskey, but just by the name, I'm going to guess it's a bourbon. Yeah. All right. So let me try another sip of this now that it's kind of had a chance to breathe. So, all right. Man, that's got a little bit of heat to it. I love it. So just out of curiosity, has anybody ever had this particular whiskey? It's Paul John Brilliance. And like I said, they've got about maybe 4 or 5 different offerings. So if you've even had a different Paul John, I keep wanting to say John Paul, by the way. It's very hard not to. If you've ever had a different Paul John, let me know. All right, so this guy is 100% malted barley. As I said, it's about 55 bucks. And one thing I really liked about this, and this drives me absolutely nuts from other distillers, is, and maybe I'm just being silly here, but I hate when you're like, all right, I really like this whiskey. Oh, cool, it's its own distillery. And then you find out it's owned by one of, like, 3 or 4 different manufacturers. Like, I can't remember the names. Like, I'm not even going to do them. You know what I'm talking about. Like, they're all owned by somebody like Jim Beam, or there's the one that begins with a D. One of you in the chat's going to have to help me out here. But there's like maybe 3 or 4 different manufacturers and producers, and they all just own every whiskey. Not Delmore. Anyway, so what I was saying is that Paul John is their own manufacturer, actually. So they call them John Distilleries. And I just commend that. And I'm sure part of it has to do with the lack of unique whiskeys coming out of India. And maybe not all of them have the ability to produce enough to actually leave the country. But I don't care. It just makes me happy to see a manufacturer and a distillery kind of owned by the same company. Diageo, I'm guessing that's how you say it. I thought it was something like that, and I knew I was going to pronounce it wrong, so I didn't want to take the chance there. All right. So one thing that's totally off topic here, but I have to say it just because I did bring up a couple of those other whiskey reviewers earlier. So the Scotch 4 Dummies, they did this really, really cool live stream the other day where they played Jeopardy, basically. So they stream on Thursday nights. So if you're interested in kind of like, I don't know if they're planning on doing it again. I'm sure they are, because I know it was kind of a big hit. I personally embarrassed myself by a couple of my answers, but definitely check them out on Thursday nights. I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe it's 9 p.m. I'm not sure. I usually end up, I'm usually editing my video because it's Thursday night and I'm planning on releasing on Friday, and I'm always late. So I'm usually editing my video while I'm watching them and kind of commenting. But, all right. Anybody having a hard time? Oh, are you guys having a hard time hearing me? I know I kind of had a little problem with my mic at the beginning. Let me know. I agree, and I'm sure that they do consume the most whiskey. So he says the country that consumes the most whiskey in the world is India. And I'm sure there's a billion people there, or actually more than that. Doesn't mean that they're making quality product for sale across the world. So let's see. Oh, I should probably give some tasting notes. Yeah, I just kind of more said it was good. All right, let me try it again. All right, so a little bit of that, like cigar kind of comes across. I'm not much of a smoker. I have had a cigar or two with a whiskey. I would absolutely love to try a cigar while drinking this. I think that would really enhance the flavor. But anyway, a couple of quick things I'm getting off the tongue is that butter that I told you I smelled. That's like really prominent, almost like leading the flavor there. It's really good. It's almost like a buttery caramel. Then you've got, well, loads of spice. It's definitely a hotter whiskey. It's just kind of sitting right here. There's a little bit of orange, and let me see. Almost like a bit of chocolate, but that might be in my head. I'm not sure. There's so much going on. This is a very complex whiskey, actually. I'm very excited to try this. So, all right, people are saying my sound is fine, so turn up your own volume. All right. Must be something I can hear, but it seems a little lower than usual. Well, my kids are sleeping, so I'm trying not to yell. Do I ever mix my whiskeys with anything? My personal favorite is Jameson with ginger ale. So I totally do, but I'm classic guy. I mean, unless I'm having a Manhattan or an old-fashioned, like a mixed drink. I'm usually just Jack and Coke guy. I will occasionally do one of my other bourbons, which I have a ton of. As you've seen, I've done a ton of bourbon reviews lately. I'll mix those with Coke as well. But it's almost always Coke, and it's usually because I just kind of want to get drunk and have a lot of energy, which usually is a bad combination for me. But if I'm going to bother doing something stupid, I'd rather do it fast and energetic. American consumes the most Four Loko than any other country. Smoke while you enjoy the whiskey. Just breathe the air in India. So Tom, yeah, they actually just had Denali fairly recently. So yeah, you're totally right. I don't know if you all know, but as I mentioned at the beginning, I work with a couple of people from India, and they tell me all these stories about Denali. And you probably know that it's like a huge firework thing, but you might not quite know the extent. It's like apparently you can barely breathe. The air is just black because they light off so many firecrackers. And I wouldn't say it's a contest, but generally people are up at like 4 a.m. starting to light off their fireworks. There's kind of like some neighborhood pride in whoever is the first person up lighting the fireworks, which sounds miserable, but what the hell, you know? I actually am a little surprised America hasn't done the same thing on the 4th of July, but. So, let me tell you guys a little bit stuff that's going on with the channel over the next few weeks. So, as you saw, I did an episode on Speyburn 10. This week, so in a few days, Friday, I'll be releasing a video on Speyburn Braden Auroch. So I'm going to be doing that video. Actually, I'll probably record that tomorrow night. And after that, so the following week, if I can get my hands on it, I'm going to be doing Speyburn 15. Now, I've kind of heard some feedback from the audience here. People don't really like the themed months. You know, like last month was Four Roses, this month was Speyburn. But I kind of already had this planned, so I figured I would do it this month, and then I'll start off doing something else. I may have, let's see, so this is what, the 13th? So I'm going to end up with an extra week in there where I don't have a bottle of whiskey per se that I wanted to do. So either I'm going to do this, or I actually just recorded a video of kind of like a tour of my bar and all of the whiskeys that I had, which people have been asking me for. Personally, I'm not sure that I want to count that as a full like video that I do on Friday. To me, that feels more like just an extra, you know. So, and I would rather just do a review on a Friday and maybe just release that on like a Wednesday or something. So, either way, you'll see that in the next few weeks. And then let's see, I'm going to be doing the first week of December, as you saw in the Speyburn 10, as people kind of suggest kind of hidden gems, you know. So I challenged people to name a Scotch that was about $30 or under that they would consider a hidden gem. And I've gotten a lot of suggestions, the most prominent of which was Monkey Shoulder, which personally I usually I see for like 35, but I might let that one slip. So right now I'm thinking that's probably going to be the episode I do on December 1st, but I haven't made up my mind yet. Following that, here's a question for you. I've been thinking about putting together kind of like I guess you'd call it a Google Sheets of all the whiskeys that I've had, you know, kind of what my general rating of it would be, and then all the whiskeys that I still have that I haven't reviewed yet. And basically, as I buy new things, I'd like to kind of update that sheet and just kind of be like, you know, I have this is what it is, this is what I think of it. I'd like to maintain that kind of sheet. Is that something that any of you would bother to look at? Me personally, I would probably look at that if I was following somebody, but I don't really know that the things I find interesting are terribly interesting to all of you. So, let's see. Thanksgiving month, you need to do a wild. Oh my gosh, how did I miss that one, Tom? All right, I'm changing everything up. I'm doing wild turkey for Thanksgiving. That's happening. So, Tom, you're the man. You want to see the bar? All right, cool. Toss us a favor. All right, I'm gonna show you guys the bar. Maybe I'll release that on Thanksgiving week when everybody's off anyway. Maybe you guys want an extra video. So, sounds good to me. So, while I'm sipping this, another thing that I learned about the distillery is that they have all of their warehouse completely underground, which makes a ton of sense. You got to think it would cost a fortune to keep something at a constant temperature above ground in India. But I just thought that was an interesting thing. There haven't been too many distilleries that I've reviewed yet that have all of their stuff underground. And the idea of walking over that many, I think it's 10,000 barrels, is kind of awesome. Hey, Juan, what's going on? All right, I'd look at it. All right, cool. I can't even believe I missed that wild turkey. I feel really dumb. I had originally planned on doing my original Johnny Walker Red video on April 1st. And I think I put it out like a month ahead of time like an idiot. I just missed opportunities are the worst. So one thing I'm kind of thinking I might do for the patrons as well, and there's a couple of you in the chat, so thank you, is I'd like to maybe make that same list, except make more of a calendar of the whiskeys I'm planning on reviewing over the next couple of months. That way people can see it and maybe buy with me and drink along with me. So. Canadian 100% Rye Select. Malted. Is that the name of the whiskey? Or there's got to be something else, right? Well, TN Kenny, if I could, I would send you a bottle. But I'm too busy drinking them myself. Oh, you got burned. So I really, if you're watching this at a later date, make sure you check out the comments. That was classy Scotch. I like it. All right. So now that I've finished that, I'm amazed that the palate continues to have that smoky flavor on it, and that it doesn't overbear on all of the other flavors. I mean, it's going to the absolute extreme, but think of an Islay or something. When you taste an Islay, you're typically just tasting peat or smoke. And you know, if you're maybe having a pretty high rye whiskey or something, you're just getting all spice. This has like the faintest bit of smoke that almost hits you at the end of every single sip, like right after you swallowed and you kind of take that first breath, you taste that on your tongue. And then the spice is really prominent in the back of your throat. Like right now it's still burning. Part of the reason actually I'm probably being quiet as well. It's hard to talk and drink this stuff at the same time. I don't have the raspy voice that Scotch Test Dummies over here has. So, hey Bill, what's going on? If you do that sheet, it would be great to have a price valuation calculation. That's a good idea, Bill. I like it. So Bill here, him and I used to work together. So it's nice to see you. All right. Oh, Canadian Club. Okay. I assume that might have been what you talked about, but just the way you phrased it and the fact that you're Canadian, I wasn't sure if you were, you know, just naming something I could never have heard of. All right. So this guy's been sitting out for a little bit. It's been allowed to breathe. I'm going to partake and see if the nose and the taste are any different. All right, so let's see. Oh, the nose is actually a little bit more timid. A little sad to see that. It is a little bit. It's a little bit more forth with the fruit though, like the apple, but the butter is almost gone. The cinnamon is kind of there. It's not as prominent, but whereas the butter was the forefront before, now it's the apple. So. All right. So, okay. So smoke is, it's very much still there. So I think that's just going to be a characteristic of this whiskey, which I'm really happy about. I'm actually kind of excited to share this with some people. So I might have to have people over pretty soon. By the way, Malted, I appreciate that. I read that just as I was taking a sip and almost did a spit take. So fantastic. Good job. All right. So on the palate, let me try this again. So the chocolate is completely gone. That could be due to just having had two of them so quickly, but it was subtle to start with anyway. The orange is still there. I guess it's a little hard to describe. When I nosed it, I didn't really get the orange, but when I taste it, it's almost like I'm smelling the orange as I'm tasting it. I mean, obviously the two are very tied together, but like you don't really taste the orange so much as more just kind of get an impression of it as you're drinking. It's I don't know how to describe it. I'm pretty bad at that. So, sorry, I just keep hearing something over there. Let's see. The spice is huge, of course. Yeah, I mean, overall, this is a very solid whiskey. I don't know that sitting out really did a whole lot. Actually, I would recommend not doing that, especially if you're going to nose it. The nose was just beautiful right out of the bottle. It's kind of dull, and although good, it's not nearly as interesting after letting it sit out for a bit. So, all right. So who was it drinking Booker's? I think his name was Frank, or maybe Kenny. Was it you, Kenny? No, I think it was Frank. Did you ever end up answering which Bookers you were drinking? I don't think you did. I'm curious. Oh, I got 22 people on. I think that's almost a record. All right. So let's see, what else is going on? Citrus. Yep, Paul, John, and Coke. I know you want to try it. Tom, I did that one time, and it was somebody told me it tasted good. In one of the previous live streams, I combined Lagavulin quarter cask, Lagavulin, I'm sorry, Lafroig quarter cask, and Coke, because somebody told me it was delicious. And to be fair, it wasn't terrible. Wasn't maybe the best use of the whiskey, but it was pretty good. All right, you're drinking Lagavulin 12. All right, let me have a little bit of water. So, I'm not sure that I'm going to do this stream too much longer. My main goal with this really was to just kind of try this out, kind of get it out there, and ultimately I want to do a little bit more research on this, and write up an episode on it. So that was kind of it. I'll hang around for a bit longer though, because I'm kind of having fun, but I don't really have too many more topics. So let's just see what pops into my head here. Wild Turkey 101. What was it? Maybe like $30, 32, something like that. Oh, so here's a question for you. All right, so I'm gonna just put this out there. As far as Scotch goes, my experience with Scotch is significantly less than bourbons. And as you've seen, I do a lot more bourbons on this channel than Scotch. But I do want to get into Scotch. So my question for you is, are there any Scotches that are not as well known that I need to jump into? I really want to, I'm learning as I'm doing this channel. I'm significantly better than I was 2 years ago, but I'm not perfect. I can't get the best flavor profile out of a lot of things, especially not on the cuff here, or off the cuff. I usually like to take time, sit back, write up my episodes, and really do some research on nosing and tasting. I keep using the word research like I'm not just sitting there drinking, but if you can justify it, that's fine. So anyway, what are some Scotches that you all really appreciate that maybe aren't as mainstream? Like, don't say Lagavulin or Lafroig or Glenmorangie or any of those. Say something that maybe I can't even say properly. Kilchoman. Now, Kilchoman is freaking awesome. I have had that recently. Glenmorangie Signet to share with my father for Thanksgiving weekend. Cool. $50, which I think, yeah, I think $50 is significantly expensive for the Wild Turkey 101. Where are you though, Juan? All right, Bill, you need to review all the Compass Box Scotches. Yeah, I'm working on it. Those things are expensive, man. I saw the 3-year the other day, and it was almost $200. I was tempted to get it actually, but it was there's a reason for it. The other night, the thing I was mentioning that the Scotch for Dummies do with the Jeopardy, they came on, they asked, how long do Scotches need to age in order to basically be Scotch? And like a freaking idiot, I guessed 4. because I don't even know. I think, and this is going to be total excuse, a bunch of people guessed 3, and they hadn't said anybody was winning yet, so I said 4. And it doesn't matter, because I know that it's 3. I mean, Compass Box has a bottle called 3 Year, and the entire point is to show how good they can make something that's only 3 years old. But, man, freaking dumb. Glengoyne and Glendronach. I did try, I'm going to say that wrong, but is it Glengoyne or Glengoyne? I don't know. Either way, I've tried that before. Didn't do it for me, but I might have to try it again, kind of in a more like here setting. I tried it at a liquor store. They had a tasting. Let's see, Springbank. Okay, yeah, Springbank. I know that they made kind of headlines like a year ago because they changed up their label after a number of years or something like that. Cardhu 12. I don't know that one, actually. I'll make a note of that. Cardhu. All right. Oof, not even going to try to say that one, but... All right. Yeah, I'll try to say it. You know what? Actually, I don't want to sound like Bart, so I'm not gonna try to say that. Tom, I got a bunch of samples from Compass Box I'm going to review. Nice. And Bill... Glenellish is something that you should look out for if you haven't tried some already. You know what? I was at the store the other day, and I showed it to I'm just gonna look this up real quick. I showed it to the rest of the review people I told you about, and you mentioned one of the bottles as being awesome. Let me just bring this up, and I apologize for looking at the phone. I just don't know it off the top of my head. Very close, very close. All right, it was Long Row Red. Have any of you tried Long Row Red? It's actually really hard to say. Do whiskeys oxidize after opened? Absolutely. So now here's the thing. If your whiskey is above half, you pretty much have like a year before you're really going to have much issue. If you've got it down to like a quarter, you should just drink it. You're really going to, especially depending on if it's something like special. A lot of people, you know, they go really slowly through a special whiskey because they don't want it to go away. But that's kind of the wrong way to go. Now, some whiskeys might taste better to some people if they've aged a little while, just being open, but for the most part, you know, the master distiller made it taste that way for a reason, and that's going to be the way it should be. So I generally don't try to keep any of my bottles open for too long, but some of them definitely do end up being open for a while. Hey, my dad's in here. How's it going, Dad? I'm afraid to buy a really expensive bottle and just keep it in my desk for fear that it'll go bad. Well, it's good that you can only have the fear of having it in your desk because it might go bad and not because your boss might find it, but that's pretty nice. Oh, okay. Bukladik. All right. Compass Box 3 Year Deluxe is all 20-plus-year-old whiskeys with a dash of 3-year-old whiskey in it. Okay. Way of thumbing the SWA for only allowing the youngest whiskey used to be advertised. Okay, thanks, Scotch. I actually had no idea about that. I knew that there was some joke to it, but I had no idea what it actually was. So thanks for correcting me there. You reviewed the Long Row. What'd you think, Malted? Was it good? Is it worth the money? Because I think it was like almost $100. Yeah, they're making fun of me for Long Row Red. I don't see the rest of you getting on here chugging 2 Glencairns and then chatting on live stream, so you know. All right. Interesting factoid regarding Wild Turkey. The master distiller, Jimmy Russell, is the longest tenured active master distiller in the world with 60 years experience. Holy crap. Bill, he's been working almost as long as you have. I called you old. Anyway, all right, I'm just rambling here. So let me think. Do I want to go get another bottle? I mean, the answer is yes. I'm just trying to decide which one, because I could talk a lot more. Do you ever pair a cigar with your whiskeys? I typically don't. I've had a cigar with my whiskey, but I'm not really much of a smoker, so usually for me, having the cigar is more of an event than having the whiskey. So, I don't know. So I'm a little bummed. It doesn't seem that Eric ever popped in here. He's the one that bought this bottle for me. Let's see, I really liked it, but preferred the Long Row 10 when it was available. Do it. All right, let me give you guys a choice. Let me think. What do I have that's open at the moment? Well, any of the 4 roses I could get. I have all 3 of them. Have the Speyburn 10. I have. You know what? I'm going to go get some Whistle Pig. I haven't done my review on that yet, but I'm going to go get it. So I'm going to unplug my mic here, so forgive the noise for a second. I'll be right back. All right, so I changed my mind. I totally forgot. There was a whole nother reason that I did this live stream, although I think I'm going to have to do another one at some point. So a friend of mine went, he went in his father's basement, and I mean his dad, I think he may have actually passed away, but he was pretty old, and he had a bunch of bottles down there, and some of them are extremely old, and this happens to be one of those bottles. So anyway, I wanted to open this. This is totally unopened, despite looking so low, and try it. And I don't know that I've even had JB. I know it's not good, but I'm pretty interested. I'm seeing if there's any sort of year on here. No, there's nothing, but I can tell you it's got a layer of dust on it. So let me open this up and see what's going on here. Oh shoot, mic is unplugged. All right, did I plug it in the wrong one? All right, I must sound better now. All right, let me try this again. I'm just gonna wait for confirmation here. Do I sound better? Man, I need a new laptop really bad. It's something I'm gonna be buying with like Christmas. All right, whatever. I'm gonna assume my mic is working because I don't want to just talk to the nothing and wait 30 seconds. So thanks for letting me know that would have sucked. Anyway, so as I was saying, a friend of mine, his father passed away, and so while they were cleaning up the basement, they found a whole bunch of old bottles of whiskey, and they've all got like this layer of dust on them. It's kind of gross, but these things are easily like 20 years old, probably more. Not that it really matters, but it just seemed to me to be something kind of interesting to do. So I'm going to open up this JB here, give it a try. I've never had JB before, but based on the rest of them and what I know about this, I don't expect this to taste very good. So this could be interesting. Let's see. There we go. Oh boy. That's pretty pale. And doesn't look very clear. All right, let's see. Before you plugged it back in, you did sound like Swami when he was traveling in that nasty hotel. Oh, Swami. All right. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Have you all had JB before? Like, I know it's not good. I know it's not good. I saw it in the store the other day just because I was curious about the price, and it was not a high price. Oh, man, that's like almost you can't smell it. All right. Cheers. Oh, man. People drink this stuff? Oh. I found a contender for Johnny Walker Red. Oh, man. Oh. You guys knew it tasted like this and you let me do that? Come on. Oh, man. All right, so this is a 100% blended Scotch whiskey for science. Oh, man. It's, all right. I know nothing about this whiskey, so you'll have to forgive me here, but it's 86 proof, so 43%. I remember when I saw it in the store the other day, this size I believe was going for about $17, maybe 20 if I remember. I might be misremembering, but one way or another, man, this is just tough. I don't suggest this one. This one is an ignore it from my point of view. I don't have any Coke on me. It's in the garage. I'm not gonna go get any. Oh man. JB is Scotch. It's from Scotland. It says right there, product of Scotland, because they needed to let you know that you know, even though it sucks, at least it's Scotch. It says by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, wine merchants Justerini and Brooks. So that's what the J&B limited, whatever, and then their address. So it's a blended Scotch whiskey, 100% Scotch whiskeys, distilled, blended, and bottled in Scotland. So, I mean, it's a Scotch. It's just a terrible Scotch. And I can say that this would actually maybe not taste terrible with some ginger ale. And outside of just drowning it in something else, I can't imagine any situation where I would want to drink this. Oh, that makes sense. All right, so Malted says I'm drinking this wrong. Apparently it needs to be in a brown paper bag and I need to be homeless. So, well, I don't have any brown paper bags, but I haven't shaved in a few days, so maybe I'm getting there. Chase it with some grape Mad Dog. Oh man. You know, I don't hate the idea of being the guy who drinks shitty stuff, but I don't want to make that my thing. Mostly from a health sanitation standpoint. I'd like to live a long, healthy life, and I don't think that this stuff is going to help me do it. If you think that's bad, you should try our Argentinian whiskey. $10 of pure liquid shit. Oh, no thanks. Although, Juan, if you ever feel like sending me a bottle, I will absolutely try it. Let's see what else we got. Add a splash of Lafroy. You guys aren't going to let me live that one down. I thought I was doing something fun. You guys just give me crap all the time. I get it. J&B is a cheap blend, mainly grain whiskey, really light. Yeah, no, you're right. It's very light and it's harsh. You know, it's exactly that. But good is so far away from that. I don't know. I kind of want to go back to this guy, or I really want to go back to this guy, but I feel like I kind of owe it to you all to keep drinking this and suffering through it. You know, I will say, if anybody out there is curious, there's probably space in the whiskey review community for somebody just drinking terrible, terrible whiskeys and reacting to it. So there's your idea, but I'm not doing it. At least not without some more super chats or something. Oh, we only tease people we love. I suppose that's true. I will say the legs on this thing are more impressive than on the Paul John. So that's kind of weird. They're the same ABV, I think. Chase it with some PBR. I'm not sure which one would be worse. Probably this one. So. Oh my God. It doesn't get better. Whoa. You know what? That next time my friend comes over, I'm going to have him drink this. He coined a phrase around here. So he's brand new to whiskey, or was at least when he first met me, and I've been slowly introducing him to things, and he's making good progress. However, I did send him home with that black velvet because he said he didn't mind it. So maybe not as much progress as I want to be making. Either way, I think when he comes over, I'm going to make him try this, and I'm going to talk it up, and I'm going to say it's really, really good, and it's way better than it looks. And I'm just going to see how he reacts to it. But he coined a term, the first bourbon that I gave him, I think it was a Bullet, and he referred to it as being caramelly. And we now bring that up all the time. I'm not taking shots. All right. You know what? If you say it a couple more times, I might just finish this. Because fast is probably better than slow on this one. Oh man, gross. So, actually I didn't, oh yeah, so Q with the D. What's your favorite style of whiskey? Now that chat's kind of overlaying it a bit, but oh well, I'd rather have the chat. All right, I'll make you guys a deal. Here's the deal. If somebody sends a super chat, I will re-pour this and shoot it. So let's see what happens. First super chat. Old Smoky Moonshine. Salty caramel whiskeys. It's pretty tasty if you ever get. Man, I think my vision's like not working. It's not from drinking a couple of drinks. I think this stuff is poison. All right, this glass is looking lonely. I'm gonna end up doing it anyway, but super chats are always interesting. I put up some things that will show up if you guys do it. I keep waiting for one to happen naturally, but it hasn't happened yet. Very disappointed. All right, give me a count. Hey, there we go, Scotch. Thank you. You're the man. All right, I hate you. Well, now I have $2 and 1 Scotch. I wish I had $1 and 2 Scotches that were not this. You've done enough of a public service, God, man. Go back to the other glass. That stuff will make you go blind. I swear to God, my vision is not the same. All right. Scotch test dummies. All right, now I definitely have to do it. All right, what do I want to say here? Fuck you. Oh my God. It's like I'm 21 again. Yeah. Hey, look at that. Thank you, Scotch, and thank you, Help. I really appreciate it. Oh my God. No, I'm going water first. I can't even. Oh. You people are cruel. I like it though. Yeah, I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to go back on something I say, but it's not something I want to do again, soon. That is a welcome reprieve. But so I got the chance to try the Norland glasses the other day, and let me tell you, like, I've got some opinions about them, both good and bad. So I don't know how many of you out there have the Norland glass. So you get a set of them, set of 2 for $42 if you go buy them. They're pretty much, that's the price. Excuse me. But the glass itself, picture like almost a hexagon with slightly curved edges. Excuse me. Hold on. Hey, I'm 21. Ain't no shame in putting down shitty liquor like a boss. Well, at least I did it like a boss. That's the weakest shot you've ever seen? Come on. First off, it's not a shot glass, it's a Glencairn. It takes a long way to get there, a lot of time for me to reconsider my choices in life. Anyway, so I tried the Glencairn. Has 6 angles, right, and then 6 sides. And the angles drove me freaking nuts. It was the only part about it I didn't like. But that being said, so for those of you that haven't seen it, it's kind of like if you picture this as being a glass, there's a secondary, almost like a Glencairn glass in the middle of it, so that you can hold the glass and it doesn't warm up the whiskey. And the one problem I see with the Norland, the one problem I see with the Norland is that the tulip part is not really prominent enough for me. So when I went to nose it, it didn't really get, like I was drinking a whiskey I had already known, and you could tell that the nose was weaker. But the glass was so freaking cool that I kind of feel like I might get a set. I actually contacted them today. They have a brand new glass coming out, and I was just like, hey, I do these things. Do you want to send me some stuff? So we'll see what happens. But if you guys see me, do a review on the Norlands, I promise you it will be an accurate review. But I will say that I'm I'm a fan of how they look. I'm not sure that function is really as good. But we'll see. I don't know. I'll need to, I don't drink out of a Care Bear sippy cup. That's a Care Bear sippy cup. I do have some sippy cups right over there, but not doing that. This is so much better. My God, make this thing go away. I should do a review on that. I really should. I think that'd be fun. I liked the tailored glasses you talked about. Yeah, actually, I'm glad to hear that, Frank. I really liked them too. I actually almost brought one out today, but I wasn't drinking bourbon, and in my mind, I really like those for bourbon. Let me turn that off. But I'm glad to hear that, Frank. I talked to the owner there a few times, actually, and he mentioned that he got quite a few orders through the channel. So if any of the rest of you have bought those tailored glasses, then I appreciate the support. I don't personally get any kickback, but it's just nice for my subscribers to support my advertisers. So Thomas the Tank Engine Sippies. No, I'm all about Paw Patrol. Rubble's my man. So Rubble's the friggin' dog. Do a versus Johnny Walker Red versus JB. Ooh, I don't know who would win. I do have a bottle of Johnny Walker Red, but the problem is I bought Johnny Walker Red, and it's a small bottle. I think you guys saw it in, there was some video I did. I forget what it was, but I basically like threw the bottle on the floor of my truck and then like kicked it. And I haven't opened it because, God forbid, I don't want to drink that stuff. And I don't really want to open it because I can have that kind of as a prop, but if I open it, then it's a little bit less proppy. But that could be kind of fun doing JB versus Johnny Walker Red. I don't know. I'll consider it, Tom. A lot of good ideas coming out of the chat today. Sophia the First, talking. I've seen every freaking episode. I have 2 girls. That's all I got to say. And Peppa Pig. All right, so we totally don't need to talk about this stuff here because we're going to drive people away. When you run out of gas, just pour it in your tank. So, anyway, all right. So I'm starting to run out of time here. I do like to try to keep these things to an hour, and I really appreciate the chat kind of helping me keep going. I had kind of thought that this might be like a half hour just to get this thing going, but I'm glad we pushed it to an hour. This has been fun, and you guys wouldn't have seen the JB here without it. So I got to figure out maybe how to do these live streams a little bit more frequently and a little bit more structured, because I find, you know, a lot of the people who do live streams, they've got somebody else. And doing this alone with the chat, even though you guys are awesome, it's a little tougher. And that's not bad, but I'd like to be able to give a better live stream, more entertaining. So I'm gonna work on that. That'll be my New Year's resolution, and I'll try to do at least one a month. But we'll see what happens. You talking about the JB? Oh, no, this guy. All right, yeah, totally. So how would I rank this? So it's definitely a buy. I think it's actually a solid buy. I don't think there's really any wiggle room there. I absolutely 110% think that you all should shell out like $50 for this. It's really not that expensive. And especially if you've never had an Indian whiskey, it's going to hit you the way it hit me. Or at least I would think so. It's just totally different. And I haven't had that kind of experience since I tried Yamazaki 12 for the first time. Yeah, so totally buy it. 100%. Thanks, Malted. Love the show and having a drink with you. Thanks, Help. And it's just fun for us all to hang out. Yeah, I totally agree. Do it shirtless. I am so not doing it shirtless. None of you want to see that. All right, so few quick things before I pop off here. So number one, thank you guys for the couple super chats. Actually, that was really fun and it made it more fun. So, bong. That made it a lot more fun, so I appreciate it. Couple more things. For those of you who may have tuned in late, there's a group of us that do whiskey reviews. You can find links to all of their channels on my channel page over in the sidebar there. But there's Whiskey in the Six, Malted in Montreal, Scotch Test Dummies, Scotch for Dummies, Aquavitae, There's one more. I'm sorry. What is the other one? Malted Man Cave, and there's a couple more. Just check those side links and you'll find them. But basically, all of us do reviews. We all have a different take on what we do, and you know, mine's the best, of course, but still. Actually, I'm probably the least qualified, but that's fine. Who cares? We're all just drinking anyway. So, all right. With that, I'm going to say goodnight and cheers. And I'm going to go sit on that couch back there and watch some stupid TV until I finish this and fall asleep. So thank you all for joining me tonight, and I hope you have a great rest of the night. Cheers. Boom.